Hi guys, and welcome to your daily tarot reading for Thursday, the 5th of May 2022. Thanks for joining me. I'm going to use the new Mythic Tarot deck for today's reading. Let's see what these cards have to say about Thursday and what energy you'll be working with. So I'm just going to shuffle the cards a few times and choose three to see what's happening. So let's have a look. The first card is the Eight of Swords. Okay, feeling stuck and kind of railing against the powers that be. A loss of control. Then we have the Six of Swords, getting that control back and moving on. And finally, the Empress, love and new beginnings and a feeling of being in the right place. Okay, so the message I'm getting is that something in your life no longer works. And you become angry about it. So rather than just accepting it and saying, oh, you know, I'm having to stand in this circle, for instance, this young man is saying, no, this is not acceptable. And then we've got, I'm assuming this is either an angel or Apollo, the sun god. The sun in the tarot is your solar plexus. It's your happiness. It's your sense of being in control and in charge of your life. And that there is removed. So something happens, I feel, through connecting intuitively and asking yourself, okay, what doesn't work for me? What no longer suits my needs? What is it that in the here and now that I'm interested in? What do I want to pursue today? So how have I changed as a person? How do past decisions that worked for me back then no longer work for me now? And how can I do something with this new way of looking at the world and these new insights? So I'm getting that you outgrow something, but rather than railing against it and wasting your energy, you say, okay, what does work or what has the potential to work, I'm going to pursue that. And that kind of mindset and that willingness to change and to adapt and to be hands-off with things that are outside of your control and to be hands-on with things that you can work with, put you in a very comfortable spot where you're living a great life, you're experiencing a sense of abundance, there's love, there's peace and quiet, there's a sense of connection and also being accomplished and having done something for yourself. So there's a way to grow as an independent operator. So the Eight of Swords, this is usually a card that is shown with a woman who has a blindfold across her eyes, and she's bound by all these ropes, and she's surrounded by eight swords, and she's standing in the middle of nowhere in these moors, and there's a castle above kind of looking down on her. So the card is about being excluded, feeling like you've been rejected, or other people have imposed certain rules and restrictions on you, and you don't know what to do anymore. You're stuck, you feel misunderstood, and like there's no way out. It can be really a lonely, hopeless kind of place. The thing about that card is that if she were to kind of kneel down and move the rope that's binding her against the swords, she does have a way out. She can free herself. And once she's got rid of the rope, then she can take the blindfold off and see again. But who would do that, really? If you're blinded, you're not going to move around and fidget unless you've been in that spot for a while. Here we've got someone who is also trapped. And I always get confused about this, but are these the fates or the muses? Right. The muses are the three who whisper in your ear sweetly and you can create something beautiful. These are the fates who hold a person's destiny and cut the cord when they see fit. So the fates, his fate, is saying you're stuck here, and he's not accepting that because he feels it's a loss of self, it's a loss of identity. So he's at war with his life. And that doesn't work. Personal experience. You can't be at war with your life. Certain things are just given to you. You are who you are. And certain things are going to happen to you. You can't prevent them happening. You can't take excessive precautions and find some things happen and some things are destined and fated for us. We do. That's interesting actually, because The whole point of astrology and the tarot is to look at what is destined for us, as in what is kind of written in stone, and where we have free will and choice and where we can manifest whatever we want. And the great thing about these divination tools is that they take this middle position where they look at what is destined, but what you can do with that. So the answer here is not to go to war with yourself and your life and to say, oh, aren't I a disappointment? Or why did this happen to me? I should have known better. And then you get on yourself. Instead, the better option is to say, I accept my life and that it has its own rhythm and certain things happen. I'll be right back. That acceptance then allows you to keep your energy rather than wasting it and saying, I'm so angry, I'm going to lash out and try and change something that is unchangeable, because you can't really reason with these three. They're going to do whatever they want. Instead, you say, okay, I'm not totally empowered, but I still have this angel / Apollo standing close enough to me that I still get some of the power here, and I can move on in areas that aren't being governed by the fates, where I feel I do have free will. So I think that's the key thing to remember here. You do have free will. Certain things aren't going to work, but that doesn't mean you need to go on a rampage if something doesn't work out. It means that you exercise that free will again and you try something different that will work out. And look at the change in body language. Here he is totally disempowered. And here he's practically floating, and the breeze is blowing his little cape, and he's just having a grand time looking at this thing that he's arriving at. So there's this promise and hope for the future. So yes, please do remember that you have this freedom to choose to do whatever it is you want, but that certain things aren't going to work and others are. The key thing is to keep trying and to keep moving forward, and sooner or later you'll get to a spot where you're comfortable. If these are in the element of air, the Suit of Swords is ideas and decisions and information and education. And what I'm getting is that if you've been educated or you've invested a lot of time and effort and money into honing certain skills, and for instance, you're sick of that job now. Let's say you trained as a pharmacist and you put a lot of time and effort into it. And now you're like, oh, this job is so boring. I don't want to change it though, because I've invested all this time and money. I don't want to start fresh. I would have to start at the bottom again. No, I'll just make do and I'll just go through the motions and wait for retirement. That's what this card is saying. That is not the way to accept it. The way to look at it is to say, actually, I don't enjoy this job. I've got another 30 years to go before I retire. I may have to shift and go in a different direction and maybe throw out that past investment if I want to maintain or create happiness in the now. And that's a tough decision. Most of us would say, well, I've got this degree. I'm not going to go back to school for another 3 years. I mean, there's only so much time and money. The cards are saying, though, that your happiness is available and it's a real thing that can happen. So don't let yourself get stuck and tortured by your life. Instead, choose again and be willing to take a risk and to say, do you know what? I invested all that time and money. I can recreate that, or I've got more time and I'm going to make the most of it. And that's the way to get things moving in a more positive direction. The Six of Swords is a journey in itself. So going on a trip today, if everything is in place with work and living situation and how you experience your life, then seeing something new can be motivational and inspirational. And the Empress is a major arcana card. So that's the key theme of the day, that there is this potential to start a new life. I've got these poppies here, so a life that isn't painful, but actually enjoyable, that's abundant and nurturing and nourishing, where things are given freely. You feel like there's a positive rhythm, there's love, there are children, there are people who are close to you. So it's interesting, it's by perfecting something that seems quite formal and structured on planet Earth, like a career or where you live or an education. The two seem unrelated, right? Your home life, your husband, your wife, your children, and your education and your career seem different. But on this job, on this day, they're saying that if you refuse to accept things that are less than ideal for you in your working life or in your academic life, and you try again to make it fit, then that process is something that overflows into your personal life, and it will teach you in itself not to settle for someone or something or a place that actually you don't enjoy. Once you've done that once, you're going to be very reluctant to do it again. Yes, I will accept this transfer. I don't actually want to go to this place, but I'll do it. Then you end up there and you're like, oh my God, where have I landed? Or someone really likes you. You don't really like them back, but you're like, well, I don't have any other options at the moment. Let me just see where this goes. And also, I don't want to disappoint them because they like me so much. Let me just like them back. Once you've tried those kind of things once or twice or three times and seen how disastrously they usually end up for you, you're not going to repeat that behavior. So this day is a kind of practice round where you get to stop accepting things which don't work for you, and to practice that in different areas of your life so that you can land in a happy spot where you are satisfied. Number-wise, we've got the Empress, that's the third card in the Major Arcana, and 6 is 9. 9 and 8 is 17. 1 and 7 is 8, and 8 is strength and power in numerology. So it's that strength to say, okay, I'm going to start all over again. This hasn't worked out for me. I have a lot of life left. I can be happy. I'm going to use all my courage and strength to pursue my own happiness. I'm not just going to settle for a disappointing reality. So use that strength to really change things if you feel like they need to be changed. I hope you have a wonderful day. If you'd like a personal reading with me, please get in touch via my website. It's gregoryscott.com. On the front page of the website, click on book your reading to order your reading with me. I use the tarot, astrology, and numerology in my personal reading. So if you have any questions about your living situation or your ideal job or home life or anything at all, then please do get in touch with me for a private reading. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. Please hit subscribe and share the video online. Have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.